Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and originally I was gonna wait to review this movie in October because I have something very special planned for horror movies in October, which will still happen. But when I found out that they were making a Blair Witch sequel pretty soon, I said, well, fuck, I guess I have to rewatch and review this movie now. The Blair Witch Project is a 1999 found footage horror film, and the plot is we meet these three film students who are making this documentary. This documentary about this myth, this old story about a Blair Witch in their town, and they're going around interviewing people to find out details about this, whether or not it's true. And then they decide to go hiking in the woods to go search for any truths of this story, which is always a great idea. And at first, it slowly starts to deteriorate into this becoming some of the worst few nights ever. Now, what I think of the Blair Witch Project is, you know, it's funny. I remember at the time when this came out, 1999, I was like 10 years old, and everybody thought this was real. They marketed this as being a real, true life events thing. And sure, technically this isn't the very first found footage movie, but like for me and for a lot of people, it was the very first found footage movie. So it was easy to buy. 1999, there wasn't easy access to the internet, and it's just like, if they told us something, we buy it. And when you watch the movie, it's shot in such a way, it's acted in such a way to where, yeah, it's easily believable that this was real footage and that they just cut it together. The only thing now, in retrospect, is that, okay, now we know better. We're smarter than that. And there's so many moments in the movie where, like, characters are still with their cameras recording stuff well past shit hitting the fan. And it's like, why would you be still recording this? But besides all of that, the biggest thing, in retrospect, is, okay, we actually believed that a film studio found footage, real footage, of people dying, or at the very least, being kidnapped, gone missing, never to be heard from again. And they put this footage together and released it to make money off of it. I mean, I'm not saying studios aren't beneath that, but you'd like to think they wouldn't be that fucking obvious about it. Either way, though, the fact that we do have these three characters, like I said, Heather, Josh, and Mike, three virtually unknown actors who are using their real names. So that's a plus. The fact that they are unknown actors is another plus. Again, it buys into that believability factor. And you could argue that the first 45 minutes or so, not a whole lot happens, at least as far as horror goes. That it is just about them and this documentary, interviewing people and going out into the woods. But I found that still pretty interesting. Maybe it's the fact that I took film classes, and so there's a part of me that appreciates these kids going out there wanting to shoot something on their own and do something just to fucking do it. And going out into the woods with some people with a camera shooting them and sort of not like how they're doing it, but just having fun in that way. I can also relate to that. So again, you get with these characters, they're instantly relatable. But then when the shit starts hitting the fan, when they get lost in the woods, like this is before any true supernatural or really, really creepy stuff goes on. I'm just talking about them getting lost. That's where I get the most scared. That's when I get the most freaked out. That's when the movie really kicks in for me, because I can easily put myself in that situation and say, fuck! What would I do? How freaked out would I be if I was lost in the middle of the woods, not knowing where the fuck I am, losing the map, the compass isn't meaning shit, and then there comes points where they have to. It's nighttime. They have to camp out, try to get some sleep, but they start to hear weird noises outside, and that's shot perfectly as well, because since it is found footage, and like you can't really see what's going on, you're just going off of sound and hearing, and you're trying to figure out what that is. And is your mind playing tricks with you? Are your ears playing tricks with you? And that's some of the most effective horror At least I think. So I think the movie uses that very well. And then when one of the kids goes missing, that's where it goes fuck. Like there's a moment where they see trees and branches forming symbols, and these symbols are supposed to mean something with these witches, and the movie never really flat out tells you what's going on. Like if it really is this, I mean, we kind of assume that it has to be this supernatural thing, but again, the movie doesn't tell you. The movie doesn't give a whole lot of backstory on what it's doing, or you don't see as much as I remember. For some reason, I remember seeing a whole lot more of this. Like, I remember it being a lot more straightforward of saying, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what happens to the kids, where, rewatching it now, I don't remember this ending going this way. This ending kind of goes in a direction where it's very ambiguous. You really don't know what the fuck is going on. At the time, maybe it would have been creepy, more creepy to go in that route, but I can also see people who don't like this movie, who thinks it's overhyped, who thinks that nothing's really going on throughout the whole thing. If those little stuff that I already talked about don't affect you in that way, or you don't really give a fuck and you want to see more, you know, then yeah, this isn't going to work. And you're going to be confused as fuck by the ending because, they don't spell it out for you. But I still appreciate this movie. I still respect this movie for everything that, I mean, technically, this created the horror found footage genre that we still get today. For better or for worse, we do get a lot of this found footage stuff, and this movie is kind of the catalyst for that. The effect wasn't immediate, but you can see today that that effect is heavily there, really because of this film, because of the huge success that this movie had. Very low budget, but it made like over $200 million. That's something. It's a phenomenon that just, you know, it won't really happen again. And so, if nothing else, even if you don't like it, you have to appreciate this. I can say that I do like this movie to a certain extent. I do appreciate it. I do think it's effective on what they were going for, on the horror, on the little things, and it works for me. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the Blair Witch Project? Do you like it? Do you love it? Or do you think it's overrated? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Please won't you save my desires on fire? Sometimes you need a little peace at home. I'm tired, so wired. Come follow me and I can lose you. Come follow me and take a trip to the dark side. Wait